Chapter 51, Bones on the Altar, Worshipping the Devil. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Underground space. After everyone determined their position, they walked directly forward. Now that we have entered the stone gate of space, we have to see what opportunities are hidden here. It is impossible to just give up and leave. All the way forward, everyone looked around with great vigilance and braced themselves. It's here. There was a dead silence, without any sound, and you could even sense other breathing sounds. The further you walked, the weirder it became, and the further you walked, the more depressing it became. I feel a little uncomfortable, as if I'm in purgatory. Do you feel it? Stop thinking blindly. It must be something wrong with you. Why don't I feel that way? Are those bones, that I don't know who screamed? Everyone looked at the scene in front of them and were completely dumbfounded, because the bones were piled all over the ground. There were so many densely packed corpses that no one knew how many there were. There were even mountains of corpses. At a glance, it looked like an endless sea of corpses. In the center of the bones is an extremely huge ancient altar, with more bones piled on top of each other on all sides, making people feel numb when looking at them. Su Chen frowned tightly, and his intuition told him that this was definitely not a good place. With so many corpses there, who knows how many warriors were buried here? Everyone looked at the ancient altar in front of them. It was so big that they couldn't even see the top. Every step of the altar is engraved with dense patterns, disgusting and weird patterns that make everyone's feet feel cold. How many warriors are needed to gather such a sea of corpses? Su Chen was very sad, while the others bypassed the altar and continued to move forward, even if they stepped on many bones, because in their opinion, the more this happened, the more chance they might have. The cultivation of a warrior itself is a defiance of nature, and only by stepping on endless corpses can one improve step by step. Some people were unwilling to give in and tried to go to the top of the altar to see if there was any opportunity inside the altar. Only, just as he stepped onto the first step, his whole body let out a miserable scream. In everyone's shocked eyes, flesh and blood began to disappear. Yes, it just disappeared. In just 2 seconds, all the flesh and blood disappeared without a trace, leaving only a white skeleton lying on the ground. Everyone was shocked and no one dared to approach the altar anymore. Su Chen was no exception. He knew the altar was overbearing, but if he still tried to get close to it, he would really deserve to die. Just when Su Chen was about to leave, the ancient god and demon art in his body began to operate on its own again, and the god and demon mirror appeared in his hand, sending out bursts of strong fluctuations. His eyes suddenly condensed. There was no doubt that the divine demonic mirror must be a treasure. However, from Su Chen's point of view, he had already begun to nurture the divine demonic mirror with his soul, and he must not make any mistakes. Otherwise, the moment the divine demonic mirror shattered, it would be the day of his death. Holding the divine demonic mirror tightly, the ancient divine demonic art in his body was running wildly. Su Chen understood that the divine demonic mirror must be trying to get him to the altar. Could it be that the magic mirror wants to swallow the power of the altar? If this is the case, you should be able to try it. After all, just relying on your own soul to nurture the divine demonic mirror, you don't know how long it will take to completely restore the power of the divine demonic mirror. Taking one step forward, Su Chen did not continue to grind on. Since he had already decided, he would not waste time and walk towards the altar step by step. When Su Chen stepped onto the first step of the altar, his whole body trembled suddenly. Due to the operation of the ancient divine and demonic arts, his body was filled with a shield of divine and demonic energy. Like the warrior just now, his flesh and blood were not covered with blood. Devour. There was no one here, so no one noticed Su Chen's strange movements. Standing on the steps, Su Chen's body trembled slightly. Time. There was a roar in his mind, like a death knell ringing, and a void began to appear in the depths of his soul. Thousands of miles of sky were covered with thunderclouds, and rolling thunder and lightning swept across the entire earth. There were endless corpses on the ground. Under the wanton violence of the thunderstorm, the corpses were suppressed to death. A giant with a height of 100 feet, wearing a black crown, holding a magic sword, looking down at the night sky with cold eyes, standing on the bones of thousands of miles away, standing between heaven and earth. Why don't you kneel down and worship me when you see me? Su Chen, who was holding the magic mirror, did not choose to kneel down, but asked, "Why should I kneel down?" Ha 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 ha. The 100-foot giant looked up to the sky and laughed. The laughter penetrated thousands of miles of clouds and shook the heaven and earth. Even Su Chen felt as if his body was about to be completely torn apart. "Practice my ancient divine and demonic art, take my demon clan's most precious treasure, the divine and demonic mirror, and yet you will not kneel down when you see me." Su Chen was not a fool and instantly understood what this person meant. That is to say, the ancient divine and demonic art that he has practiced, as well as the divine and demonic mirror in his hand, all belong to the giant in front of him. Is it any wonder that this person is hiding in the divine and demonic mirror? As if he could guess what Su Chen was thinking, the 100-foot giant said coldly, he is the demon god of the demon clan. He died that year. In order to be reborn in the world one day, he sealed his soul in the mirror of gods and demons. For thousands of years, no one has ever been able to practice the ancient gods and demons. You are the only one. His guess was indeed correct. The 100-foot giant in front of him, the so-called demon god, came from the mirror of gods and demons. He didn't know it before, and the more he thought about it, the more he became afraid. He could feel how terrifying this so-called demon god was. Even if there was just a trace of soul, he still possessed unrivaled power. Once the demon god wanted to attack him, he didn't even have a chance to avoid it. The corpse energy here is very suitable for swallowing by the god and demon mirror, and it can also allow me to restore my spiritual cultivation. Are you willing to help me? Can I say I don't want to? Su Chen was very depressed, and all the questions he asked were nonsense. The world was like this. No matter where he went, no matter when he was placed, strength would come first. Ha ha ha, good boy, I like your character very much. Let me ask you now, are you willing to become my teacher? Apprenticeship. Su Chen was also a little confused. He didn't seem to have expected that the devil suddenly wanted to make him a disciple. Since he was deprived of his imperial bones, he had never accepted anyone as his disciple. He knew very well that the current apprentices were completely different from the teachers in the academy. As the saying goes, once a teacher is always a father. Once you worship the devil as your teacher, the devil will be like your father. I do. Of course Su Chen would not refuse. How could he refuse? First of all, the soul of the demon god was hidden in the magic mirror. Now he has begun to gestate his soul again. As long as the demon god destroys the mirror, he will definitely die. Secondly, to be able to become a demon god of the demon clan, Su Chen is absolutely sure that the demon god's strength is definitely not simple. Being able to have such a person as his teacher will definitely do more good than harm to his martial arts practice. This is something without any suspense. Unless there is something wrong with your own mind, you will refuse. Kneeling on his knees and kowtowing 3 times to the devil, Su Chen shouted, "Disciple Su Chen, pay homage to the master." The afterimage flashed, and the demon god's figure had returned to within 2 meters. His burly figure was like a volcano erupting, his resolute facial features were very handsome, and his eyes were staring at the young man in front of him. The more he looked at him, the more satisfied he became. It turns out to be the blood wheel of 3 lives. There has never been anyone in the mainland who can possess the blood wheel of 3 lives at the same time. Ha! No, there seems to be something missing in your body. Emperor Bone. Emperor Bone. Have you awakened the Emperor Bone? Su Chen didn't hide it either. He awakened his imperial bones and was stripped off again. The matter of Li Digu was briefly explained. The demon god nodded and said, "There are rumors in the mainland that awakening the Emperor Bone will lead to the attainment of the Emperor realm. However, although you lost the Emperor Bone, you unexpectedly awakened the blood wheel of 3 lives. This is not something that an Emperor Bone can match, let alone your cultivation. The ancient demon god art and the ancestral phoenix nirvana art are really unique. Don't worry, your talent is enough to surpass the rest of the continent. In the future, you will not only achieve the imperial realm, but also become the strongest person in the continent." Su Chen was also very happy to be praised by the demon god, but he did not tell his master about the Chaos Devouring Tower. because the Chaos Devouring Tower was his biggest secret and he would not tell anyone except himself. I don't have anything good to give you as a master. I believe you should have derived the death seal of gods and demons from the ancient gods and demons art. Yes, I have successfully cultivated the first death seal of gods and demons. Nodding with satisfaction, the god and demon said, "Sit down, I will help you practice now." Su Chen felt joyful in his heart. Without any hesitation, Su Chen immediately sat cross-legged, began to run the ancient gods and demons art in his body, and cast the gods and demons death seal. Standing on the first step of the altar, Su Chen's body remained motionless. The magic mirror in his hand automatically left his hand and headed towards the ancient altar. The magic mirror floated to the top of the altar and began to devour it crazily. Half an hour later, the mirror of gods and demons returned to Su Chen's hand. As for Su Chen's mind, with the help of gods and demons, his soul had cultivated to 36 death marks of gods and demons, and he also unexpectedly realized the blood demon transformation. Blood demon transformation. You can actually understand the blood demon transformation. Master, what is the blood demon transformation? That the god and demon sighed deeply and said helplessly, the blood demon transformation is the top secret technique of the demon clan. Even I couldn't practice it back then. According to rumors, the blood demon transformation is hidden in the ancient god and demon art. Only those with a predestined relationship can cultivate. Chinner, my master is telling you now that you can practice the blood demon transformation, but you cannot use the blood demon transformation, no matter when. Do you understand? Why? Su Chen was somewhat confused. Since he could successfully understand the blood demon transformation from the ancient gods and demons art, why he could only practice but not perform the blood demon transformation. However, Su Chen also understood that since the master did not allow him to perform the blood demon transformation, there must be a reason. Sighing deeply, the demon god said helplessly, using the blood demon transformation can instantly double or even several times increase a warrior's strength. However, the only certainty is that during the process of performing the blood demon transformation, he will turn into a killing machine. And may even be turned back by the blood demon. That I see, Su Chen finally understood why the master didn't let him use the blood demon transformation. Chapter 52 Bone Fragments. You are listening at MaleProtagonist. Su Chen smiled. No matter how powerful the blood demon transformation is, since it has such a huge backlash and after effects, it is impossible for him to use it unless he does not take his own life seriously. Chinner, I want to tell you now that I am a demon god and come from the demon clan. On the mainland, the demon clan is rejected by people. Once people know that you are a disciple of the demon god, you may not be able to gain a foothold in the world. Disciples are not afraid. Good. The demon god was very satisfied, nodded and said, my master is about to practice, you can leave. Yes. Su Chen was also very sad when his soul returned. If he hadn't encountered the altar this time, he wouldn't have accidentally broken into the mirror of gods and demons and met the master demon. Keep going. Su Chen's speed obviously increased because he was delayed by the altar and wasted half an hour. If there was any chance, he might not have made the trip. No more time was wasted. Flying like a cheetah on top of thousands of miles of clouds, the ground was littered with corpses and bones, and waves of black mist enveloped the underground space. The gathering corpse energy slowly eroded the souls and the minds of the warriors. This moment, many warriors were eroded by corpse energy, their eyes became scarlet, and they slaughtered other warriors crazily without knowing the pain. Even if their arms were cut off, some warriors even had half of their heads cut off, like zombies, they were still going crazy. Fighting on the ground, Shen Bingxue and Shen Hua's expressions were very gloomy. They dodged and could only kill them forcefully. However, these people were corroded by the corpse energy and became killing tools. In addition to killing, they were killing. Su Chen's figure appeared instantly, and he was a little surprised to see the broken limbs and broken arms everywhere, and the blood seeping into the bones. The scene was very scary and strange, and it was very confusing to watch. Immediately circulate the ancient gods and demons art in the body. Holding the magic mirror in his hand, he waved it directly in front of him. He is not saving these people. Whether the warrior dies or not has nothing to do with him. What he has to do now is to use the magic mirror to continuously devour the power here, so that the master and the demon can devour and restore his soul. Be able to be reborn one day, just 3 minutes, under the shroud of the divine mirror, the warrior who had been eroded by the corpse energy gradually regained his clarity. Suddenly, there was a scream like a slaughtered pig, which was extremely miserable. After all, he had just been eroded by corpse energy. Even if half of his head, hands and feet were cut off, he could not feel anything. Now that he regained consciousness, pain instantly spread throughout his body. More than 2,000 warriors, after this massacre of each other, more than 500 people died, about a quarter. Boy, let me see the mirror in your hand. The magic mirror disappeared in an instant, and Su Chen chose to ignore it. Of course he understood what the other party meant. It was nothing more than seeing that his magic mirror could swallow and suppress the corpse energy. It must be a loan without repayment. He is not a fool. How could he hand over the magic mirror for no reason? The ignored man's face instantly darkened. The more he thought about the scene just now, the more frightened he became. If it weren't for the magic mirror in this man's hand, I believe the consequences would have been disastrous. Boy, you are so shameless. I advise you, it is best to hand over the mirror, otherwise, you may become a part of this place. Shen Bingxue and Shen Hui immediately came to Su Chen and said angrily, you are so shameless. If Su Chen hadn't brought out treasures to help you suppress the erosion of corpse energy here, you would all be turned into bones now. You actually want other people's things with a smile on your face. He is from Donghuang College. Do you want to be our enemy, Donghuang College? That looking at Shen Bingxue standing in front of him, standing up for him, Su Chen was a little surprised. It seemed that he did not expect that Shen Bingxue, who had some friction with him, would stand up to help him. After all, the man next to Shen Bingxue was a powerful man. A strong person in the nascent soul realm. Not only that, when Shen Bingxue said the words Donghuang Academy, everyone who wanted to snatch the treasure had fear written on their faces. In Donghuang, the 4 words Donghuang College are definitely synonymous with intimidation. No one can choose to ignore Donghuang College. Even if they wanted to kill people and gain goods, they had to kill Shen Bingxue and Shen Bingxue without letting Donghuang College know about it, but they couldn't do it. The only option is to give up. Boy, we don't need the mirror in your hand, but you must ensure that the corpse air does not corrode us. How about it? That the compromise was ultimately made because everyone was afraid of Donghuang College. Su Chen didn't speak. He couldn't make any promises. Again, whether these people were alive or dead had nothing to do with him. It would be best if they all died. The remaining more than 1,000 warriors followed Su Chen. After all, only the mirror in this person's hand could swallow the corpse energy, protect them from the erosion of the corpse energy, and turn them into killing machines. There were corpses all over the place, and they creaked when you stepped on them. The bones are moving. Looking at the corpses on the ground, it seemed as if the zombies had come to life. Everyone's expressions changed suddenly, but before they could get closer, everyone had been forcibly separated. Boy, suppress it quickly. In their opinion, the mirror in the young man's hand should be able to suppress the bones. Shen Bingxue and Su Chen walked together, looking left and right. Come with me. Shen Bingxue didn't hesitate at all and immediately followed. The magic mirror in his hand opened his bow left and right, cutting a bloody path. The two of them breathed a long sigh of relief, and the surroundings returned to calm, and there were no more bones. Third uncle is still inside. You won't be of any use if you go back, and you may even become a burden to him. Regardless of whether she wanted to believe it or not, Shen Bingxue understood that what Su Chen said was the truth and sighed deeply in her heart. She could not go back and could only hope that her third uncle would be okay. So what do we do now? Shen Bingxue seemed a little confused and didn't know what to do. Looking around, Su Chen pointed in the south direction and said, go over there and have a look. Good. The two of them did not continue to grind and immediately headed south quickly. Right now, Su Chen suddenly stopped, his eyes brightened, staring at the broken bones on the ground. There were bones and bone fragments everywhere on the ground. Shen Bingxue asked curiously, Su Chen, what's wrong with you? I have something to do. Shen Bingxue didn't wait to ask more questions. Su Chen took a few steps, squatted down, and kicked the bones aside. From among the countless bone fragments, he found a black bone fragment the size of a palm. The black bone fragments were engraved with dense lines. Su Chen was very familiar with these lines. They were exactly the same as the Taichu divine marks that he accidentally obtained from the academy. He never thought that he would encounter the bone fragments of the Taichu divine pattern here. Chapter 53 Replacement. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Su Chen knew very well that the Taichu divine mark he had obtained in the academy was just a martial art of incomplete soul. The bone fragment in his hand now, the divine patterns carved on it are probably more comprehensive than before. With excitement on his face, Su Chen was about to comprehend the bone fragments, but the voice of the devil rang in his mind. Chener, no matter how talented you are, it is really difficult to comprehend the divine pattern of the absolute beginning from the bone fragments. Su Chen would not doubt his master's words, so his soul asked, Master, what should I do? The choice is yours, I'm just telling you how. Master, please speak. The divine patterns of Taichu are the top soul martial arts. According to rumors, the divine patterns of Taichu are engraved on 9 bone fragments. The only way to fully understand the bone patterns on the bone fragments is to change bones. Replacement of bones? Su Chen had vaguely guessed something. My master is now teaching you the art of bone replacement. The choice is yours whether to perform bone replacement. The next second, Su Chen immediately felt a secret technique pouring into his mind. It was the so-called bone-changing technique. It looked extremely simple, but in fact it was extremely overbearing. If you were not careful, you would be in great danger. The most important thing is that bone replacement will be very painful. You have to dig out a piece of your own bone first, and then replace the bone fragments and fuse them again. Others may not know the pain of digging out bones. How could Su Chen not know it? When he awakened the emperor bone, it was stripped away by Su Hao before it could be fused. The pain of life and death was unforgettable for the rest of his life. Thinking about it now, if it weren't for the dragon elephant bloodline sealed in his body to maintain its foundation, I believe he would have fallen. Sitting cross-legged, following the bone-changing technique, Su Chen shook his head and prepared to start bone-changing immediately. Faced with such a heaven-defying opportunity as the Taichu divine pattern, it was impossible for him to choose to give up. The master has just said that there are 9 bone fragments in the world, and he has only obtained one of them now. As for the Taichu divine pattern he obtained in the academy, I am afraid it is just a general outline. No wonder he has been unable to touch the Taichu divine pattern. Taking a deep breath, Su Chen's palm was like a sharp blade, and he clasped it directly towards his left shoulder. With a tear, he broke the flesh and blood, revealing the white bones, and the blood sprayed out like a fountain. Su Chen, what are you doing? Seeing Su Chen's sudden move, Shen Bingxue was completely stunned. She trembled with fear and immediately came to Su Chen and said, Are you out of your mind? Why are you hurting yourself? Leave me alone. Gritting his teeth, he was sweating profusely in pain, and his whole body was covered in pain, soaked in sweat. Su Chen ignored Shen Bingxue and cut open the bloody flesh with his right hand, directly breaking a bone fragment and pulling it out forcefully. Seeing the scene in front of her, Shen Bingxue's face was filled with disbelief. She really couldn't figure out why Su Chen did this. Seeing her scalp numb, Shen Bingxue wanted to stop him, but Su Chen had just said, Leave him alone, and Shen Bingxue knew very well that Su Chen was not a fool and could not do this for no reason. He casually threw the bone fragment extracted from his left shoulder into the space ring. Without any friction, he directly inserted the bone fragment into his left shoulder, grinning in pain and sweating profusely. Balls of strength surged out of his hand, constantly gathering the flesh and blood of his left shoulder. Even so, Su Chen couldn't help but tremble. Bone replacement, bone fusion. Su Chen successfully completed the bone replacement. His face was extremely pale. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and successfully fused the bone fragments with his technique, which was considered 1/9 completed. There are 9 bone fragments in the Taichu divine pattern. He has only fused the first bone fragment, but for him now, it is more than enough. After the bone melts smoothly, the bone fragments begin to be refined, and the Chaos Devouring technique begins to operate within the body. A stream of devouring breath continuously pours into the left shoulder, wrapping the bone fragments and starting to refine them. Half an hour later, Su Chen slowly opened his eyes. He had already changed his bones and refined the bone fragments. The next time he spent was slowly refining the bone fragments and cultivating the divine pattern of the beginning. Seeing Su Chen standing up, Shen Bingxue was very depressed. She was convinced. She had never seen such a person, digging up her own bone fragments. She didn't ask any more questions, because Shen Bingxue knew very well that even if she asked, it would be in vain, and she believed that Su Chen would not tell her. With a deep sigh, Shen Bingxue realized that she had still underestimated Su Chen. The fact that such a person was promoted to the ace class by the academy showed a lot of problems. In her knowledge, it seems that there has never been an example of a student in the real elixir realm being able to break into the ace class. Donghuang Academy cares very much about the ace class and the teaching quality of the ace class. No matter what kind of background you have, if your cultivation has not reached that level, it is impossible to be promoted to the ace class. It seems that Su Chen is not simple. Are you alone, or are you going to join me? Because Shen Bingxue stood up to speak for him just now, Su Chen had forgotten the friction between them. He even regarded Shen Bingxue as a friend and classmate. Such people are worth paying attention to. Together. Walk. The two of them didn't hesitate at all. Now they had no choice but to move forward. However, in the eyes of the two of them, this place was so weird that maybe there was a chance to go against the will of heaven. The two of them ran on the desolate corpses, stepping on the dense white bones, making a harsh sound that made people's scalp numb. If the situation here was spread, it would probably shake the entire eastern wasteland. How many warriors would have to be slaughtered to gather together? Such a scene, there were big dry trees with countless corpses hanging on them, like big trees full of fruits. Shen Bingxue couldn't bear it anymore, stopped and vomited. After all, she was a girl and had never encountered past this situation. This was the first time they encountered it. Fortunately, Su Chen swallowed the corpse energy with the help of the magic mirror. Otherwise, I believe Shen Bingxue would have been unable to hold on. Even so, his face became increasingly pale. Are you okay? Hey, if I had known that this place was such a scene, I would never have chosen to come in even if I had the chance. Nodding, Su Chen understood deeply that such a scene was indeed not suitable for girls, and the further they walked, the more bones they found, everywhere, including bones on the ground and bones hanging on trees. From now on, you stay with me and don't leave 3 steps away. Su Chen's body suddenly erupted with waves of Buddha's breath. There were 8 Buddhas in the body of chaos, suppressing the god-killing bone bow. Moreover, the 8 Buddhas taught Su Chen all their Buddhist magical powers. Originally, Su Chen didn't want to use Buddhist magical powers. He had a magic mirror, and he could rely on the magic mirror to swallow the corpse energy to help his master recover, and he was not afraid of the erosion of the corpse energy. Now, the situation is completely different. It was obvious that Shen Bingxue could no longer hold on. If this rate continued, I believe that within 2 hours at most, Shen Bingxue would be completely eroded by the corpse energy and become a killing machine. With no other choice, he could only use Buddhist magical powers. With the help of the Buddhist Qi mask, he believed that he could completely prevent Shen Bingxue from being corroded by the corpse Qi. The Buddha's breath enveloped the two of them, and a huge yellow swastika gradually formed behind them. The Buddha's light shone everywhere, and the corpse energy around them was completely purified by the Buddha's breath. Buddhist magical powers. Su Chen, are you from Buddhism? As soon as she asked, Shen Bingxue regretted it. This question was really stupid. How could Su Chen be from Buddhism? You must follow me closely and don't leave 3 steps away. Clear. Standing next to Su Chen, one could even smell the slight masculine scent exuding from Su Chen's body. His heart trembled greatly, and his whole face turned red, showing the shy appearance of a girl. There were corpses on the ground all around, everywhere, like a hell on earth where corpses gathered. Apart from the roar of corpse gas filling the air, there was not even a breeze. I don't know how long I ran for, probably a day and a night. Look, what is that? Following what Shen Bingxue pointed, Su Chen took a breath of cold air, because not far away, there were small altars forming a huge circle. After a rough count, Su Chen found that there were 9 altars in total, and on each altar sat a palm-sized phantom of a baby. The body was blood red, as if it had been filled with blood. In the center, there is a crystal ball floating, the size of a football, all green, surrounded by 9 altars. Chener, I need that strength as a teacher. No problem. Su Chen has already guessed that the souls gathered here among the bones are probably in the crystal ball. Since the master wants it, he will not hesitate or refuse. Sister Shen, you stand here and wait for me. I'll go in and get something. Su Chen, listen to my advice and don't go in. Shen Bingxue stared at the 9 altars in front of her. Even though she knew that the crystal ball was a great opportunity, the 9 altars were still full of dangers. Once they stepped into them, I believe that if they were not careful, they would fall into a place of no return. If it were another academy, she wouldn't care whether Su Chen lived or died, but now, as she and Su Chen experienced life and death, she didn't want any accidents to happen to Su Chen. Shaking his head, Su Chen smiled and said, "It's okay, I have a sense of propriety." Don't wait for Shen Bingxue to speak. Su Chen was already walking towards the 9 altars. The closer he got, the more he could feel a desolate and eternal sense of oppression from the 9 altars, as if he had experienced the baptism accumulated over countless years. The person who refined the blood puppets is dead. The power of the 9 altars has been swallowed up by the blood puppets. You are really lucky. All the blood puppets have been successfully refined, and only the final refining is needed. Blood puppet? Listening to the master's demonic tone of surprise, Su Chen could guess that the 9 bloody villains on the 9 altars must not be simple. After all, the identity of the master lies there. Chapter 54. Even if you know it's impossible, you'll never give up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Come to the crystal ball. Outside, the power of the crystal ball is sealed by 9 altars and cannot be sensed at all. Now sensing the vast soul breath coming from the crystal ball, Su Chen was also filled with sadness. He could completely guess that, if nothing unexpected happened, the soul contained in the crystal ball came from the endless corpses outside. From this, we can imagine how vast the soul power is contained in this crystal ball. Without the slightest hesitation, he immediately mobilized the devouring power in his body and directly covered the crystal ball. Master needs this crystal ball to practice, so Su Chen will certainly not be stingy. After getting the crystal ball, Su Chen looked at the 9 altars around him. He chose to believe his master. It seemed that someone here was deliberately refining the blood puppet. But just after the refining was completed, he unexpectedly disappeared without even waiting to take it with him. Who is it that would kill so many creatures in order to refine a blood puppet? 2 words, cruel enough. He walked to each altar and took all the bloody babies into his hands. Master, what exactly is a blood puppet? Blood puppet is one of the most difficult to refine among the puppet's secret arts. Especially a blood puppet like this requires the blood essence and blood of tens of millions of living beings, and also requires special materials to be successfully refined. 9A blood puppet requires hundreds of millions of creatures, and judging from the layout here, I'm afraid it will take tens of thousands of years. The demon god was also sighing. This person really regards living beings as ants. Only real ants can refine such a domineering blood puppet. Chener, if you drop the essence and blood on the blood puppet, you can start to breed the blood puppet. The strength of the blood puppet as your realm continues to improve, it will be of great benefit to you in the future. Nodding, Su Chen did not lament the ignorance of living beings, because in his opinion, there are cycles of reincarnation in the way of heaven, especially under the martial arts. Life is really fragile. In this cruel and realistic world of martial arts, fists are everything. You don't have strong strength, even your own life will be affected, and no one can control the rules of martial arts. 9 drops of essence and blood were dripped on the 9 bloody babies. The next second, the 9 babies disappeared in the palm of his hand in an instant, but Su Chen could clearly sense that the 9 blood puppets were in his body. Strictly speaking, they should be in his own blood, breeding blood puppets with blood, making the 9 blood puppets completely become their own. it seems that the biggest opportunity in this underground space should be the 9 blood puppets. After being obtained by myself, there is no use in staying in the underground space. Su Chen, are you okay? Looking at the young man in front of her, Shen Bingxue always felt that Su Chen was strange, with a sense of mystery that could not be explained. Su Chen shook his head and said, "The sky is empty under the ground. There is no other opportunity in this time. I am ready to leave. What about you?" "Together, but first I have to go back and see how Uncle 3 is doing." "Good." Su Chen didn't know that as he took away the crystal ball and the 9 blood puppets, the endless corpses that had started attacking all returned to calm. The entire underground space seemed like hell, and it was so quiet that people felt terrified. When the 2 returned, the ground was full of corpses. Fully half of the more than 1,500 warriors had perished. Shenhua's body was covered with bloody wounds and he was still alive, panting for air. Shenhua finally breathed a sigh of relief when he saw Shen Bingxue successfully appearing in front of him. "Uncle 3rd, are you okay?" "I'm fine. This place is really weird. These corpses are completely immortal. No matter how you attack them, it won't help." Fortunately, the corpses didn't continue to attack. Otherwise, no one here would be able to leave alive. "Uncle 3rd, I want to leave here." "Good." This time, Shenhua did not refuse or object, because this place was too weird. If he continued to stay, his body would be gone, and he would eventually become one of the bones. Not only Shenhua and Shen Bingxue, but also other people. 90% of them chose to leave and did not want to stay. However, there were also some who were not afraid of death and were ready to stay in the underground space to look for opportunities. Without staying any longer, the 3 of them quickly headed towards the entrance. Half an hour later, the 3 people who successfully returned to the surface of the lake breathed a long sigh of relief. The strangeness of the underground space made them feel frightened. Shenhua, in particular, was extremely depressed. Not only did he not get the chance, he almost died in it. "Sister Shen, I'll leave first. Be careful. Take care of yourself too." Seeing the figure disappearing in an instant, Shenhua frowned slightly and asked, "Bingxue, do you like him?" That my heart skipped a beat. "Do I like Su Chen?" With a deep sigh, Shen Bingxue said helplessly, "Third uncle, I don't know either. In fact, when we were in the academy, my sister and I still had some friction with him, but now." Shen Bingxue really couldn't explain her feelings. She didn't know whether she liked Su Chen or not. "This guy is pretty good. If you like him, you can pursue him directly so as not to regret it later." "I understand, third uncle." Night falls. Su Chen sat cross-legged under the big tree. The chaos devouring technique running in his body was devouring spiritual power from all directions. After passing through the underground space, he could clearly sense that his cultivation level was fully capable of continuing to make breakthroughs, but he just did not choose to practice in the underground space. Really unwilling to wait any longer, he immediately found a secluded place and started practicing. Now he is stable at the peak level 4 real elixir realm. The power in his body is rolling crazily and flowing all over his body. He raises his head to the sky and breaks through his own limit in an instant. He directly steps from the peak level 4 real elixir realm to the 5th level real elixir realm. And stabilized at the peak level 5 real elixir realm, although it was only an improvement in level, Su Chen couldn't help but be pleasantly surprised. Martial arts training went against the will of heaven, and it was as difficult as ascending to the sky in one level. Ever since his blood wheel was abolished, he obtained the Chaos Devouring Tower, and awakened his 3-life blood wheel. His cultivation speed could be said to be 1,000 miles faster. How could he not be satisfied? It's just that his situation is very special. Facing Su Hao, who has the Imperial Bone, he can't waste any time. He must hurry up step by step to catch up with Su Hao. Although Dean Lan said that Su Hao had only reached the Golden Core realm, Su Chen also understood that Su Hao, who had fused his own Emperor Bone and had top-notch talent, could not reach the Golden Core realm after so many years. There must be something fishy about it. No matter what he has to do is to keep practicing hard and one day go to the Sioux clan to seek revenge against Su Hao. Buzz. Buzz. Right now, Su Chen suddenly opened his eyes, feeling the cold murderous intent surrounding him, and his expression changed slightly, because he could feel how powerful this cold murderous intent was. Now that you're here, why bother being so sneaky and shy? Under the cover of night, 4 figures slowly walked out, all shrouded in black. A pair of cold eyes exuded a heart-stopping cold light. The powerful aura of the 4 people locked onto Su Chen, blocking all exits. Tang Clan. Su Chen instantly guessed the origins of the 4 people. Apart from the Sioux clan, he had no enemies, but he was confident that even now the Sioux clan would not know that he was in Dongwon College, and Su Hao would not let him go. In his eyes, how could he send such a powerful person to rob and kill him? The only possibility is the Tang clan. After all, at Dongwon College, the clan leader Tang Xiaotian had no choice but to give up under the intimidation of Dean Lan. Tang Xiaotian will definitely not give up if he destroys Tang Hao's blood wheel. Because of the intimidation of Dongwon College, the Tang people don't dare to take action in the college. It doesn't mean that they don't dare to take action here. Before coming, Vice President Qin Zhu had told himself that once he left the academy and came to the Forsaken Forest to participate in the autumn hunting, there was a high possibility that he would be intercepted and killed by the Tang clan, leaving him with a choice. Without any hesitation, he chose to come to the Lost Forest without looking back. When Su Chen saw, "Come on, if you are afraid of death and look forward and backward in everything, how can you improve your strength? A warrior should have the courage to move forward without fear of life or death. That's why he's here." Yes, you are quite smart. You actually guessed the identities of the 4 of us. We are indeed from the Tang clan. How dare you destroy Tang Hao's blood wheel? We will make you pay with your blood. Don't worry, we won't. It will kill you, but it will destroy your blood chakra, cut off your limbs, cut out your tongue, gouge out your eyes, and turn you into a useless person. The 4 of them are indeed from the Tang clan, 2 elders of the form and spirit realm, and 2 elders of the refining realm. In Tang Xiaotian's view, if 4 elders of the condensation realm take action and still choose to attack secretly, there will be almost no big impact. The problem, Dongwon College will only have 1 vice dean following him, and it is impossible to take care of all of Su Chen. The 3 realms of concentration are the realm of physical form, the realm of refining the spirit, and the realm of concentrating the spirit. Tang Xiaotian did not send out elders from the concentration realm. In his opinion, 2 elders from the form spirit realm, 2 from the divine refining realm, and 4 elders were more than enough. They came to the Lost Forest this time, and they just chose to assassinate Su Chen. They did not want to confront the vice president and teachers of Dongwon College. The Tang people were not willing to provoke Dongwon College unless it was absolutely necessary. He was not surprised at all, nor was he afraid at all. Even when he faced 4 powerful men in the concentration realm, he was as steady as a mountain. You're a pretty good boy. You can see the 4 of us being so calm. It's a pity that you messed with the wrong person. You originally had a bright future in Dongwon College, but you ruined it yourself. You can't blame others. The god-killing bone bow appeared in Su Chen's hand. He knew very well that he only had 1 chance to see if he could kill 3 people with the help of the god-killing bone bow and the god-killing bone arrow. This battle is the strongest 4 people I have ever encountered. Even if I have no chance of defeating them, I will never give up. Draw the bow and draw the arrow. The god-killing bone bow has been drawn, and the faces of the 4 people are full of ridicule. Until now, the other party has not chosen to give up. In their opinion, this boy is indeed good. Yes, no matter who touches the bottom line of the Tang clan, they will die, not to mention that the mistake this person committed is unforgivable. How can I explain to the clan leader if I am unable to complete the task? Kill. But the 4 of them did not want to continue to waste time. There were too many variables. Once discovered by the vice president of Dongwon College, not only would they not be able to kill this person, they would even lose their lives here. A quick battle. Even if Dongwon College guesses that Su Chen was killed by the Tang clan, what will happen? Could it be that Dongwon Academy would start a life-and-death war with the Tang clan over a group of 4 people? It's definitely unrealistic. Chapter 55 The Emperor's Power is Coming, Shameless. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Holding the god-killing bone bow in his hand, Su Chen's murderous aura continued to soar, and the blood will condensed above his head let out a series of sword roars, call out. A god-killing bone arrow shot out of the air, followed closely by a second and a third. Su Chen understood that he could only have a chance of survival by using the god-killing bone arrow. With his current strength, fighting 3 concentrating spirit masters on his own would be a complete defeat. Roaring with murderous intent, the faces of the 4 people locked by the god-killing bone arrow suddenly changed. It seemed that they did not expect that the bow and arrow in this person's hand would be so domineering. Accompanied by the deafening sound of breaking through the air, the 4 people wanted to dodge, but were shocked to find that they had nowhere to hide, because the god-killing bone arrow had already locked onto them. Puff. They were hit by the god-killing bone arrow, but because their realms were too different, and 4 people in the concentration realm joined forces, 3 of them were hit in the left shoulder, and right leg respectively. Blood mist filled the air, accompanied by screams. All 3 concentrating soul realm warriors were injured. The god-killing bone bow and god-killing bone arrow disappeared instantly. There was helplessness on his pale face, and his body was even more shaky. Even if his cultivation had improved, he would still be counterattacked if he forcibly cast 3 god-killing bone arrows, now, let alone facing 3 concentrating soul realm warriors at the same time. Even nascent soul realm warriors can kill him. Kill! The frightened and angry 4 people walked directly towards Su Chen without any hesitation. Even so, Su Chen did not choose to give up. He released his own sword blood wheel and used the 9 tribulations sword technique. He used extremely domineering sword energy, one sword after another. Unfortunately, how could he withstand the attacks of the 4 people? Join forces to suppress. The difference in realm is so great that even the god-killing bone bow cannot make up for the gap. The sword energy shattered, and horrific killings exploded in the air, hitting Su Chen's body hard. Blood spurted out wildly, and there were more and more bloody wounds on Su Chen's body. The 4 of them seemed to be playing a game of cat and teacher instead of killing Su Chen immediately. The 4 of them were really angry. Just now, they were almost tricked by this kid. If you are killed by a warrior in the real elixir realm, you will not be able to rest in peace even if you die. The 4 angry people wanted to torture this man to death, unable to hold on any longer. The moment Su Chen closed his eyes and fell down, the 4 of them were blocked by a terrifying aura and could no longer get closer. They could only attack furiously. Even if they allowed the 4 of them to attack, they still could not break through the invisible aura. A purple figure condensed out instantly, with a cold light flashing in its cold eyes, like a sharp blade, standing between heaven and earth. The 4 of them stared blankly, because the woman in purple who suddenly appeared was as beautiful as a fairy. Her soul-stirring beauty made their hearts tremble. A purple dress tightly wraps the woman's tall body, her phoenix eyes are half-curved with amber, her red lips are dotted with peaches, her eyebrows are looming, and her pair of smart eyes contain indescribable charm. Inextricable. What a stunning face this is. The 4 of them looked at the purple-clothed woman in front of them stupidly, their hearts trembling, and their eyes filled with unbridled greed. If they could spend a night with such a woman, they would be willing to live 10 years shorter. You can't kill him. Holding his fists towards the woman in purple, the elder of the Tang family said helplessly, "Please don't interfere in the affairs of our Tang family. If we don't kill this person, we won't be able to explain to the clan leader. Your Excellency, please leave." After a brief shock, the 4 of them calmed down a little. Su Chen had passed out. The only thing they had to do now was to kill Su Chen smoothly. If Su Chen ran away in this situation, he couldn't face the clan leader, let alone them. Who would have thought that a woman would come out halfway and she would want to save Su Chen? Without any nonsense, an astonishing aura suddenly erupted from the purple-clothed woman, directly heading towards the 4 people to suppress them fiercely. Dewey. You are a strong person in the Imperial realm. Senior, we know we were wrong, so please show mercy. Don't wait for 4 people to talk nonsense. After that, the bodies exploded one by one and turned into clouds of blood mist. The poor 4 elders of the Tang family were slaughtered one by one without even knowing what happened. The woman in purple didn't even make a move, she just relied on her momentum to kill 4 people. This can explain that, how powerful are women. Looking at Su Chen who had passed out, the woman in purple stepped forward and came to him in an instant. There was a trace of tenderness in her eyes, but it quickly disappeared. He took out an elixir from his arms and gently put it into Su Chen's mouth. The elixir melted in his mouth and flowed down his throat and throughout his body. Shameless. After saying these 3 shameless words, the woman in purple blushed slightly, then turned and left, disappearing without a trace in an instant. Click. A bolt of lightning broke through the void and flashed, and thunderclouds began to gather from all directions. Lightning flashed and thunder roared, and in an instant, heavy rain swept across the entire lost forest. Terrifying thunder and lightning accompanied by heavy rain fell hard on Su Chen's body. His heavy eyelids slowly opened, and his body was not as unbearable as he imagined. What's going on? He was not dead. Logically speaking, he should have been killed by the 4 people. He got up from the ground and looked at the empty surroundings. He frowned tightly, not knowing what happened. Did the Tang family choose to let him go? It must be nonsense. He had destroyed Tang Hao's blood wheel. How could the Tang family choose to give up on such hatred? Elixir? Feeling the extremely surging power in his body, Su Chen immediately sat cross-legged. As an alchemist, although he had not yet refined the elixir, he could still clearly know that he had swallowed the elixir and was still at the same level. Very high elixir. With the help of the power of this elixir, Su Chen's cultivation level unexpectedly broke through again, rising from the 5th level of real elixir realm to the 6th level of real elixir realm. This was something Su Chen never expected. The injury was not as serious as expected, and I believe he will be able to recover within 3 days. In order to kill him, the Tang family really spent a lot of money and directly sent 4 concentrating soul realm warriors to come. Who saved him? Could it be Luo Qianfei? In Su Chen's opinion, if Vice President Qin Zhu or a college teacher came to his rescue, he would definitely not leave without saying hello to him. Among the people I know, only Luo Qianfei seems to be very strong. Although I don't know what kind of cultivation level Luo Qianfei has, but being able to kill 4 people in the concentration realm, Luo Qianfei must be very strong. It seems that concubine Luo Qianfei has not left and has been protecting me. Su Hao slowly opened his eyes. Just now, he had successfully broken through to the 7th level of the virtual infant realm. The 3 realms of the nascent soul are the virtual infant realm, the real infant realm, and the nascent infant realm. Not many days after he broke through to the virtual infant realm, he was directly promoted to the 7th level of the virtual infant realm. This speed of cultivation was so amazing that even he himself felt embarrassed. Master. A soul floated out. It was Su Hao's master Tu Can. Looking at his disciple in front of him, Tu Can nodded with great satisfaction and said, "The Emperor's bone has begun to take effect. According to your cultivation speed, I believe you can reach the Soul Palace realm in 3 months without waiting for a year. To reach the concentrating soul realm within 1 year, and to reach the Juding realm within 2 years, it's not bad, it's very good. Thank you, Master, for your cultivation. Your talent is enough to surpass Dong Huang, but however, you should understand that Dong Huang is only a drop in the ocean in the entire Tianhuang continent. Your goal is not just Dong Huang, but needs to look at the entire continent." "Yes, Master. Starting from today, I will teach you my unique secret skills and magical powers. You must remember that you must practice well and not waste your talents. When you want to conquer the mainland in the future, I will give you an explanation. Disciple will definitely live up to Master's high expectations." For his disciple, Tu Can became more and more satisfied as he watched. The talent itself was already at the top level, plus the fusion of the Emperor Bone, regardless of whether the Emperor Bone awakened on its own, was enough for Su Hao. Su Hao had a very high status in the Sioux clan and was designated as the young clan leader. His imperial bones alone were enough to make him unmatched by his peers. The Su Hao clan had high expectations for Su Hao, very high. Chapter 56. It turns out that the Sioux trash is so disgusting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Abandoned forest, killing everywhere, various monsters hunt and kill warriors. If you are unlucky, you may even encounter a monster in the concentration realm, with his cultivation smoothly stabilizing at the 6th level of real elixir realm. Su Chen has been constantly hunting monster beasts, hoping to use the devouring of monster beast souls to advance 2 levels before returning to the academy. Su Chen, who had just finished devouring the soul of the monster beast, suddenly heard the sound of breaking through the air. Su Chen's face suddenly turned cold when he heard the word Su clan. He did not expect that he would meet a disciple of the Su clan in the Lost Forest. With a slight snort, Su Chen quickly walked towards the direction of the sound. Terrifying fluctuation spread throughout the world, and a woman in yellow was besieged by 3 young men. Logically speaking, there was a void infant realm warrior among the 3. Together they should be able to fight quickly, but they were unable to win. Burden, it was completely intentional, just to play the cat and teacher game. Boom. Huang Ying's body retreated continuously and hit the big tree hard. Blood seeped out from the corners of her mouth, her face was as pale as paper, and the blood will condensed on her head had disappeared. I'm from Donghuang College. If you dare to deal with me, aren't you afraid of Donghuang College? Huang Ying, a student of Class 1 of Donghuang Academy, 8th level Golden Core Realm, Blood Will Oriole, hunting monsters alone. I accidentally found 2 golden elixir grasses. This kind of spiritual grass does not require refining elixirs. Any warrior of the 3rd level of golden elixir can instantly rise to a higher level if swallowed, and there will be no backlash and side effect. The only disadvantage of pandan grass is that it can only be swallowed once. Even if you swallow 100 pandan grass, the effect will be the same. If you want to switch to other things, forget about giving up. Only pandan grass. If this kind of spiritual grass is redeemed in the academy, the points required are really terrible. Even the students in the ace class cannot accept such points exchange. She had decided to give a pandan grass to the 3 of them, but she never thought that the 3 of them would be so greedy and wanted 2 pandan grasses. Donghuang College. We are so scared. You scared us to death. So what can Donghuang College do? Our Su clan is not afraid of you. Donghuang College just gave you the opportunity, but you didn't take advantage of it. Now we not only need 2 pandan grasses, but also need you to accompany us. If I serve you well, I might be able to let you out alive. Brother's suggestion is good. All 3 of them are from the Su clan. One is Su Can, who is at the 1st level Void Infant Realm, and the 2 are at the 9th level Golden Core Realm. They left the Su clan and came to the Lost Forest in order to gain experience. Su Can found it very funny and looked at the women in front of him with sneers. He had to admit that Huang Ying's appearance ranked among the top 10 in the entire Donghuang College. If he were in Donghuang College, he would definitely be afraid of Donghuang College. Looking at the entire Donghuang College, there really is no force that dares to provoke Donghuang College. This is not Donghuang College, but it was left in the forest. Even if this girl was killed and the Donghuang College didn't know about it, how could she seek revenge from them? Huang Ying's face was pale, and her brows were full of anger. Even Donghuang Academy could not intimidate the 3 of them. She was not afraid of death, but was afraid of being defiled, and said, I'll give you 2 pandan grasses. It's too late now. We want the pandan grass, and we also want your people. Her body started to tremble slightly. Looking at the 3 people walking towards her step by step, Huang Ying had no choice but to retreat. Her face became gloomier and pale. She was ready to commit suicide. Even if she died, she would not be killed by the 3 of them. It is absolutely not allowed to be defiled by people. Turns out the Su trash is so disgusting. Right now, a mocking sneer came from behind, and Su Chen's figure appeared in front of the 4 of them, with cold murderous intent in his cold eyes. The 3 of them slowly turned around and looked at the young man in front of them. They were a little stunned when they felt the aura on the young man. Is it just the real pill realm? Su Can laughed and sneered. It turns out that you are a trash in the real elixir realm, and you also want a hero to save the beauty. I think you are the trash. They really couldn't figure out why a small real elixir realm warrior dared to come out and meddle in their business. With the strength of the three of them, let alone joining forces, I believe that just one person who stood up could easily obliterate them. This person. Junior Su. Seeing the sudden appearance of Su Chen, Huang Ying's face suddenly became happy. Even though she knew that Su Chen was not the opponent of the three, Huang Ying still couldn't help but be surprised for some reason. She didn't want to die, nor did she want to be tainted, hope there will be a miracle. I'll help you kill 3 of their rubbish, and you need to give me a pandan grass. No problem. Without even thinking about it, Huang Ying agreed directly. Not to mention 1 pandan grass, even 2 pandan grasses would be given to Su Chen, as long as Su Chen could kill 3 people and help her leave here. Seeing such an arrogant young man, Su Chen and the other 3 were angry, their eyes became colder and colder, containing extremely cold murderous intent. If eyes could kill, I believe Su Chen would have been killed by eyes countless times. They are from the Sioux tribe, and their strength is there. This person dares to be so provocative and does not take them seriously at all. How can he not feel angry? Su Chen smiled and said, it's arrogant, but I like it. I will cut off your limbs later, seal your body on the ground, then make a hole in your head, and pour some honey. What will happen? You can think about the consequences. Buzz. Without further nonsense, Su Chen will not show any mercy to the people of the Sioux clan. Although the Sioux clan is his ancestral family, for the Sioux clan, for example, the so-called branches can be sacrificed at will. Back when Su Hao deprived him of his imperial bone, the Sioux clan not only did not stop him, but instead told the world, celebrating Su Hao's awakening of the imperial bone, trying to hide it. Court death. Presumptuous. Seeing the young man taking the initiative, the 3 angry men roared in a low voice. For a small real elixir realm warrior to dare to act so arrogantly in front of them was to seek his own death. What a speed! Seeing the figure that suddenly appeared in front of him, leaving only afterimages like a ghost, Su Chen's eyes suddenly condensed. This was simply not the speed that the real pill realm could possess. The 3 of them woke up instantly. Of course this person knew that he was in the real elixir realm, but he still dared to provoke them. To say that he had no support would definitely be a lie. Putting aside their contempt, the 3 people immediately released their own blood chakras, all of which were sword blood chakras. The sword energy surged like the sea and roared wildly along with the roar of the sword intent, flying all over the sky and covering the surroundings. Su Chen has absolute confidence in his own strength. He is at the first level of the virtual infant realm. Even if he is the weakest in the nascent infant realm, he can kill any warrior of the golden core realm at will. The violent sword energy poured out from the 3 people, carrying unparalleled power, covering the entire world, and the surrounding space trembled slightly. Su Chen snorted coldly. The virtual sword condensed in his hand contained the overbearing killing sword energy. The sword blood wheel reunited with the help of the Chaos Devouring Tower was itself a killing sword blood wheel. The astonishing sword energy offensive swept out like a sandstorm, and the 4 people's attacks instantly collided fiercely in the void. The sword energy was crisscrossing, and at the moment of collision, a storm of sword energy spread around, like a huge spider web swallowing up the world, tearing apart the ground fiercely, and began to shatter inch by inch, with countless cracks appearing. What a terrifying killing sword energy! Huang Ying felt that Su Chen's sword energy was so domineering and fierce, and her face suddenly changed. Now she finally knew why Su Chen was promoted to the ace class by the academy. With the cultivation of the real pill realm, not only can one compete with the golden core realm warriors, but also can compete with the Suing realm warriors. From this point alone, looking at the entire Donghuang Academy, and the entire Donghuang Academy, I believe that no one can do it. Staring at the battle in front of her, Huang Ying did not choose to leave. If Su Chen was killed by the 3 of them, she would also commit suicide. She would not leave Su Chen alone. Boom boom boom. As the saying goes, an expert will know when he makes a move. Just by simply colliding with the opponent, the 3 of them instantly understood where the courage came from. Although the young man is only in the real elixir realm, his own strength is extremely powerful, especially the condensed sword blood will, which is extremely domineering. But you must know that in the eastern wilderness, the Su clan is the sword, the originator of the blood wheel. Any sword blood wheel is like a younger brother in front of the Su clan. After using the 9 tribulations sword art and integrating it with the ancient gods and demons art, 1 against 3, and faced with a virtual infant realm and 2 golden elixir realms joining forces, not even Su Chen dared to be careless in the slightest. The rolling demonic breath merged into the sword energy. And the sword energy was continuously superimposed, attacking the 3 of them fiercely. The domineering sword energy seemed to tear the entire world apart. Demon breath. You are from the demon clan. Huang Ying's body trembled when she heard the word demon clan. She knew best what demon clan meant. Su Chen was definitely not from the demon clan. Otherwise, how could Su Chen enter Donghuang College and become a member of the academy? A member of. You 3 are so shameless. Junior Su is from Donghuang College, so you are not a demon. Donghuang College. When did the students of Donghuang College practice the martial arts of the demon clan? However, the 3 of them also understood that since this person came from Donghuang College, the possibility of being a demon clan was almost very small. After all, Donghuang College would definitely not risk the world. Damn it, even if they are not demons, the 3 of them have been completely angered. If they are defeated by a small real pill realm, how can they lose face? This battle can only be won, not lost. The 3 of them simultaneously used the Su clan's uninherited martial arts to subdue the demonic sword. One after another, containing domineering sword energy, came towards Su Chen to suppress the demonic energy. This was what the 3 of them meant. Su Chen was 1 against 3, with no sign of defeat. As the battle continued to escalate, the 3 of them became more and more frightened and unbelievable as they fought. They really couldn't figure out why a warrior in the real elixir realm could perform such a domineering offensive. Sword-conquering demon technique. Impossible, how could you use the demon-conquering sword technique? Suddenly seeing the young man performing the demon-subduing sword art, the 3 of them were completely dumbfounded, because as we all know, the demon-subduing sword art is a secret of the Su clan, and it is impossible for outsiders to come into contact with the demon-conquering sword art. Not only did this person awaken his sword as the blood wheel, and he can even cast the demon-conquering sword technique. Could it be that this person is also from the Su tribe? Who are you? Speculating is one thing, but whether the other party is from the Su tribe is another. Su Chen did not answer. He was indeed from the Su clan, but not from the Su clan's main family, but only from a branch of the Su clan, the Su family in Panyu City. For the entire Su family, the Su family in Panyu City is just a small branch. Whether they will be remembered by the Su family is a question. The sword art of subduing demons is a secret that has not been passed down to the Su clan. Every family branch can practice it, but it is just a superficial practice. The core of the sword art of subduing demons will not be passed down to any family branch. This is a matter of course. Boy, who are you? Where are you from? In case we kill the wrong person. If you don't answer, don't blame the 3 of me for being rude. Chapter 57. Take advantage of his illness and kill him. You are listening at novelfull.audio. For some reason, when they saw the young man performing the demon-conquering sword technique and releasing the sword blood wheel, the 3 of them had an intuition that this man was also from the Su tribe. No answer, no way to be sure. The 3 angry men were completely irritated, and the young man completely ignored their existence. However, before killing this person, it was necessary to find out whether this person was from the Su tribe. I had full confidence that I could kill this person quickly and with absolute domineering power, without any suspense. The results of it. With their joint efforts, they were unable to achieve absolute suppression. If they had not experienced it personally, even if they were beaten to death, they would not believe that this was true. I can't believe it, but the facts are right in front of me. The remaining 2 Su clan Golden Core Realm warriors' faces were very red, and the sweat on their faces showed that they were suppressed tightly. Feeling the dense sword energy rolling around them, it was obvious that Su Chen would not be able to continue like this. The dogs of the Sioux are nothing more than that. The blood will sword shadow in his hand kept sweeping out. Su Chen's eyes were full of teasing. He looked at the three people who were suppressed by him and deliberately made provocations. The two Golden Core Realm warriors didn't matter, the only person he was afraid of was the only one among the three who was in the Suing realm. Su Chen could almost conclude that this person in the virtual infant realm must have just broken through not long ago, otherwise, he would not have been so suppressed by him. Buzz. The moment Su Chen displayed the Taichu divine pattern, a silent wave instantly invaded the minds of the two Jindan realms. They were unable to guard against it. The two of them didn't even know what was going on, so they immediately stopped attacking and covered their heads. It roared like a slaughtered pig. Soul martial arts. Looking at the two people who fell, Su Chen exclaimed. He knew very well what soul martial arts meant. Just as Su Chen guessed, Su Chen only broke through the void after entering the Forgotten Forest. It's just the infant realm, and it hasn't even stabilized the strength of the virtual infant realm. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in such a mess. Take advantage of his illness and kill him. Su Chen showed no mercy at all. He believed that based on the grievances between him and Su Hao, he and the Su clan would be life and death enemies in the future. It was completely conceivable, because no matter whose imperial bone it belonged to, Su Hao had always fused it. Emperor bone, the Su people will definitely preserve and possess the imperial bones and give up themselves, no resentment, no blame. If you stand from a different perspective, you will look at things differently. The Su people have the position of the Su people, and they have their own position, but Su Hao must die. Su Chen had no intention of continuing to fight, although this person is only in the real alchemy realm. His strength is extremely domineering. He dare not continue the bet. If he loses the bet, he will lose his life. I really can't afford to lose. Even the two companions chose to give up. Rubbish. Taking advantage of the gap when Su Chen turned around and ran away, Su Chen directly used the Taichu divine pattern to superimpose the death mark of gods and demons. Buzz. The extremely domineering Taichu divine pattern broke through the layers of void and directly invaded Su Can's mind. If Su Chen fought with all his strength, even if he lost to Su Chen in the end, he might still have hope of escaping. But now he has lost confidence and does not dare to fight at all. In a battle between warriors, the state of mind is too important. Accompanied by a scream like a slaughtered pig, death marks of gods and demons swept over. A total of 36 death marks of gods and demons were continuously superimposed and bombarded Su Chen fiercely. Poor Su Chen originally wanted to win a pandan grass and successfully advance to a higher level, but he never thought that Cheng Yao Jin would appear on the way, and he would even fall here. Endless anger. With reluctance, Su Can's body fell down hard, and his whole body was blasted with the death marks of gods and demons, making him look like a human being. Please let us go. We won't tell the Su people what happened today. We are from the Su tribe. If you dare to kill us, the Su tribe will definitely not let you go. Seeing Su Chen being slaughtered, the remaining two Su warriors were frightened. Their souls had been attacked just now, and cracks had already appeared. Even if they survived, it would be difficult for them to practice martial arts further in the future. This time they encountered a tough situation, and it was too late to regret. They could only pray that the two of them could leave the lost forest alive. Are you threatening me? That they didn't want to make any threats. They were just facing life and death. What else could they do without threats? At least there was a glimmer of hope to move out of the Su clan. Before the two of them could speak, Su Chen had already shaken his head and said with a smile, I will meet and kill every dog of the Su tribe, without exception. Su Chen's eyes suddenly turned cold. Without any patience, the sword energy rushing like a sea rushed towards the two of them crazily, ignoring their screams, and the dense and domineering sword energy penetrated their bodies. He left the Chaos Devouring technique and began to wildly devour the souls of three people. One soul of the Void Infant Realm and two souls of the Golden Core Realm. They couldn't be wasted, they were definitely good things. Huang Ying was completely dumbfounded when she saw the scene in front of her. She didn't expect that Su Chen could successfully kill three people with 1 against 3, but, among the three of them, there is even a Suing realm warrior. Even if the Shuiying realm is only the first among the 3 nascent soul realms, it is definitely not something that the real pill realm can compete with. He rubbed his eyes vigorously, his face full of shock and disbelief, looking at Su Chen who came in front of him. Huang Ying sighed and said, Junior Su, you are really powerful. I think with your current strength, you are qualified to enter the ace class to practice. Shaking his head, Su Chen had no interest in the so-called ace class. He just needed to be able to continuously break through himself. His target is Su Hao. Junior Su, this is pandan grass. Even if you don't refine the elixir, swallowing it directly can make any warrior in the third realm of Jindan instantly rise to a higher level without any backlash. Nodding, Su Chen took the pandan grass from Huang Ying's hand. Of course he knew the value of the pandan grass. It was definitely a good thing for warriors in the third realm of Jindan. The only drawback was that every warrior you can only swallow one pandan grass. Swallowing more will not be of any use. Senior Huang Ying, I think you'd better swallow the pandan grass immediately to avoid a long night and many dreams. Clear. A common man is innocent of the crime of having a jade in his possession. The value of the pandan grass is there, so the best way is to swallow it as soon as possible. Huang Ying and Su Chen did not continue to grind, and each swallowed the pandan grass in their hands. Originally, Huang Ying's cultivation had already reached the 8th level of the Golden Core realm. After swallowing the pandan grass, there was no bottleneck to speak of. She directly broke through her own limit and stepped from the 8th level of the Golden Core realm to the 9th level of the Golden Core realm. As for Su Chen, the moment he swallowed pandan grass, he felt the heat spread throughout his body. It is definitely a good thing. There is no need to refine it into elixirs, just swallowing it directly has miraculous effects. It can help the 3 realms of golden elixir. The warrior instantly broke through a level. Chapter 58 Spiritual Power Liquefaction. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After swallowing the pandan grass, Su Chen was smoothly promoted from the 6th level of Real Elixir Realm to the 7th level of Real Elixir Realm in an instant. Pandan grass is indeed a good thing, but it makes people feel uncomfortable. A warrior can only swallow one pandan grass. If he can swallow it without limit, then it will be perfect. Su Chen smiled helplessly in his heart. Of course he knew that everything had rules. He could only abide by the rules. If he wanted to change the rules, he would have to become stronger. There are still dozens of days until the end of autumn hunting. Today, my cultivation has been successfully stabilized at the 7th level of Real Elixir Realm. It seems that I can try to reach the 8th level of Real Elixir Realm, or even the 9th level of Real Elixir Realm. For a warrior, going out to practice is the most important thing. Staying in the academy and practicing will definitely not make you so fast. Junior Su, I won't tell anyone what happened today. Nodding, Su Chen understood what Huang Ying meant. He killed the disciples of the Su clan. Once the Su clan knew about it, they would definitely not let it go. Even if he was afraid of the intimidation of Donghuang Academy, his identity would be exposed. Nothing necessary. What he needs now is to buy more time to practice, not to cause unnecessary problems, and wait until he is strong enough to defeat Su Hao in one fell swoop. A hit would definitely hit, and there would be no chance for Su Hao to breathe. After solving the 3 Su clan members and swallowing pandan grass to break through his own limits, Su Chen was ready to leave. He prefers to hunt alone rather than in a group. Junior Su, thank you for saving me this time. I know a spiritual spring. I wonder if you are interested. Spiritual spring, that he was very surprised. Of course he knew what Liquefaction meant. For warriors, it was definitely the best place to practice. Liquefaction, as the name suggests, is the accumulation of spiritual power from heaven and earth through the precipitation of special environments, and gradually forms Liquefaction over the years. No matter where the spiritual spring is placed, it is a good thing that makes all warriors covet it. Huang Ying nodded and said, this spiritual spring is located in the southeast of the Forsaken Forest. We discovered it accidentally when we came here last time. In trouble. Su Chen was not a fool, and of course he could tell something was wrong in Huang Ying's words. Liquefaction, such a good thing, no matter who it is. Now that they have discovered it, they will definitely choose to enter cultivation instead of giving up, which is completely unreasonable. Well, around the spiritual spring here, there are Yaoyue Tianlang clan guarding it. Even the Wolf King has reached the state of concentration. When we told the deputy dean about this, the vice dean strictly prohibited us from entering, and we were not allowed to get close to half of the spiritual spring. Step. Among the 3 realms of concentration, the realm of concentration has been ranked as the strongest existence below the gathering realm. Even the vice president of the college does not dare to provoke the Wolf Emperor. Su Chen finally knew why Huang Ying and others chose to abandon Liquefaction when they encountered it last time. Even the vice dean and teachers were unwilling to touch it. It's not that they don't want to get the spiritual spring, but that there are Yaoyue Tianlang clan guarding the spiritual spring. Opportunity is important, but compared with life, it is not worth it at all. Huang Ying was really grateful to Su Chen, but she couldn't express her gratitude with anything substantial, so she could only tell Su Chen this secret. When she said it, she felt a little regretful, because for a warrior, facing the spiritual spring is really hard to resist. Live. Junior Su, the vice dean strictly forbids us from approaching, so we can only choose to give up. If it were anyone else, facing the intimidation of Yaoyue Tianlang clan, they would definitely not dare to take Ling Xuan's idea. Only Su Chen shook his head and said with a smile, "Let's go and take a look. If we are lucky, the Yaoyue Sirius clan no longer exists, and we might be able to get a bargain by then." Without refusing, Huang Ying nodded and went to check out things that didn't matter. As long as they didn't get close, the 2 of them didn't waste any time, just like 2 cheetahs constantly shuttling through the abandoned forest, both at a very fast speed because they didn't want to waste time, about 2 hours. Junior Su, we have arrived. You must remember to control your desires and don't be carried away by the spiritual spring. Once we are targeted by Yaoyue Sirius, we will be in big trouble. Nodding, Su Chen understood what Huang Ying meant. Not to mention the strength of Yaoyue Tianlang clan, the Wolf King alone could easily destroy them. Even the vice president and teachers of the college are no match for the Wolf King. The 2 people moved forward slowly and cautiously. Gradually, there was a small valley that was not too big between the peaks. Looking down from the mountainside, one could see everything in the entire small valley. Junior Su, that's the spiritual spring there. The Yaoyue Tianlang clan is around. As for the Wolf Emperor, he doesn't know much about it. Following what Huang Ying pointed out, Su Chen looked at a huge stone pool in the middle of the valley with a green liquid in it, and said in surprise, "Spiritual power is liquefied." Nodding, Huang Ying also said greedily, "It is indeed the liquefaction of spiritual power." This kind of spiritual spring is useful even for concentrating soul realm warriors and monster beasts, so the Yaoyue Tianlang clan guarding here must be to slowly devour the spiritual power. Spring, the Wolf King has reached the condensation realm, and with the help of the spiritual spring, he can completely attack the Juding realm. The Juding realm is already regarded as the pinnacle existence in Donghuang. Nodding, Su Chen understood what Huang Ying meant. The Yaoyue Tianlang clan guards the spiritual spring. Only this explanation can make sense. The Wolf Emperor did not devour it directly. The spiritual power contained in the spiritual spring must be very huge, and the Wolf the Emperor needs to devour it slowly to achieve stable promotion. There are a lot of demonic moons Sirius in the valley. At a glance, there are no less than 100 that can be seen. Su Chen knows very well that no matter whether they attack by force or secretly, they can't get close to the spiritual spring. There was a gleam in his eyes, and Su Chen was unwilling to give up. After all, a good thing like Liquefaction was something you could only encounter but not seek. Once you missed it, you would have to wait until you could get Liquefaction again. Su Chen could even assert that even Vice Dean Qin Zhu would not give up when faced with the spiritual spring where spiritual power was liquefied. But facing the Wolf Emperor in the concentration realm, not even Vice Dean Qin Zhu dared to provoke him. "Junior Su, let's leave." Huang Ying regretted telling Su Chen this secret. After all, a warrior would definitely not want to give up in the face of such temptation. Even she wanted to rush down and enter the spiritual spring to practice. Now her cultivation level has reached the 9th level of the Golden Core realm. Once she successfully enters the spiritual spring to practice, Huang Ying has full confidence that she can use the power of the spiritual spring to break through to the peak Golden Core realm, and even break through to the broken pill condensing infant. Nascent soul realm. Thinking about it is one thing, but whether you dare to do it is another. I believe no one would dare to face the Wolf Emperor in the concentration realm and the entire Yaoyue Tianlang clan. After swallowing the pandan grass, Su Chen was smoothly promoted from the 6th level of Real Elixir Realm to the 7th level of Real Elixir Realm in an instant. Pandan grass is indeed a good thing, but it makes people feel uncomfortable. A warrior can only swallow one pandan grass. If he can swallow it without limit, then it will be perfect. Su Chen smiled helplessly in his heart. Of course he knew that everything had rules. He could only abide by the rules. If he wanted to change the rules, he would have to become stronger. There are still dozens of days until the end of autumn hunting. Today, my cultivation has been successfully stabilized at the 7th level of Real Elixir Realm. It seems that I can try to reach the 8th level of Real Elixir Realm, or even the 9th level of Real Elixir Realm. For a warrior, going out to practice is the most important thing. Staying in the academy and practicing will definitely not make you so fast. Junior Su, I won't tell anyone what happened today. Nodding, Su Chen understood what Huang Ying meant. He killed the disciples of the Sioux clan. Once the Sioux clan knew about it, they would definitely not let it go. Even if he was afraid of the intimidation of Donghuang Academy, his identity would be exposed. Nothing necessary, what he needs now is to buy more time to practice, not to cause unnecessary problems, and wait until he is strong enough to defeat Su Hao in one fell swoop. A hit would definitely hit, and there would be no chance for Su Hao to breathe. After solving the 3 Sioux clan members and swallowing pandan grass to break through his own limits, Su Chen was ready to leave. He prefers to hunt alone rather than in a group. Junior Su, thank you for saving me this time. I know a spiritual spring. I wonder if you are interested. Spiritual spring, that he was very surprised. Of course he knew what Linquan meant. For warriors, it was definitely the best place to practice. Linquan, as the name suggests, is the accumulation of spiritual power from heaven and earth through the precipitation of special environments, and gradually forms Linquan over the years. No matter where the spiritual spring is placed, it is a good thing that makes all warriors covet it. Huang Ying nodded and said, this spiritual spring is located in the southeast of the Forsaken Forest. We discovered it accidentally when we came here last time. In trouble. Su Chen was not a fool, and of course he could tell something was wrong in Huang Ying's words. Linquan, such a good thing, no matter who it is. Now that they have discovered it, they will definitely choose to enter cultivation instead of giving up, which is completely unreasonable. Well, around the spiritual spring here, there are Yaoyue Tianlang clan guarding it. Even the Wolf King has reached the state of concentration. When we told the deputy dean about this, the vice dean strictly prohibited us from entering, and we were not allowed to get close to half of the spiritual spring. Step. Among the 3 realms of concentration, the realm of concentration has been ranked as the strongest existence below the gathering realm. Even the vice president of the college does not dare to provoke the Wolf Emperor. Su Chen finally knew why Huang Ying and others chose to abandon Linquan when they encountered it last time. Even the vice dean and teachers were unwilling to touch it. It's not that they don't want to get the spiritual spring, but that there are Yaoyue Tianlang clan guarding the spiritual spring. Opportunity is important, but compared with life, it is not worth it at all. Huang Ying was really grateful to Su Chen, but she couldn't express her gratitude with anything substantial, so she could only tell Su Chen this secret. When she said it, she felt a little regretful, because for a warrior, facing the spiritual spring is really hard to resist. Live. Junior Su, the vice dean strictly forbids us from approaching, so we can only choose to give up. If it were anyone else, facing the intimidation of Yaoyue Tianlang clan, they would definitely not dare to take Ling Xuan's idea. Only Su Chen shook his head and said with a smile, let's go and take a look. If we are lucky, the Yaoyue Sirius clan no longer exists, and we might be able to get a bargain by then. Without refusing, Huang Ying nodded and went to check out things that didn't matter. As long as they didn't get close, the 2 of them didn't waste any time, just like 2 cheetahs constantly shuttled through the abandoned forest, both at a very fast speed because they didn't want to waste time. About 2 hours. Junior Su, we have arrived. You must remember to control your desires and don't be carried away by the spiritual spring. Once we are targeted by Yaoyue Sirius, we will be in big trouble. Nodding, Su Chen understood what Huang Ying meant. Not to mention the strength of Yaoyue Tianlang clan, the Wolf King alone could easily destroy them. Even the vice president and teachers of the college are no match for the Wolf King. the two people moved forward slowly and cautiously. Gradually, there was a small valley that was not too big between the peaks. Looking down from the mountainside, one could see everything in the entire small valley. Junior Su, that's the spiritual spring there. The Yaoyue Tianlang clan is around. As for the Wolf Emperor, he doesn't know much about it. Following what Huang Ying pointed out, Su Chen looked at a huge stone pool in the middle of the valley with a green liquid in it, and said in surprise, "Spiritual power is liquefied." Nodding, Huang Ying also said greedily, "It is indeed the liquefaction of spiritual power." This kind of spiritual spring is useful even for concentrating soul realm warriors and monster beasts, so the Yaoyue Tianlang clan guarding here must be to slowly devour the spiritual power. Spring, the Wolf King has reached the condensation realm, and with the help of the spiritual spring, he can completely attack the Juding realm. The Juding realm is already regarded as the pinnacle existence in Donghuang. Nodding, Su Chen understood what Huang Ying meant. The Yaoyue Tianlang clan guards the spiritual spring. Only this explanation can make sense. The Wolf Emperor did not devour it directly. The spiritual power contained in the spiritual spring must be very huge, and the Wolf the Emperor needs to devour it slowly to achieve stable promotion. There are a lot of demonic moon Sirius in the valley. At a glance, there are no less than 100 that can be seen. Su Chen knows very well that no matter whether they attack by force or secretly, they can't get close to the spiritual spring. There was a gleam in his eyes, and Su Chen was unwilling to give up. After all, a good thing like Linquan was something you could only encounter but not seek. Once you missed it, you would have to wait until you could get Linquan again. Su Chen could even assert that even Vice Dean Qin Zhu would not give up when faced with the spiritual spring where spiritual power was liquefied. But facing the Wolf Emperor in the concentration realm, not even Vice Dean Qin Zhu dared to provoke him. "Junior Su, let's leave." Huang Ying regretted telling Su Chen this secret. After all, a warrior would definitely not want to give up in the face of such temptation. Even she wanted to rush down and enter the spiritual spring to practice. Now her cultivation level has reached the 9th level of the Golden Core realm. Once she successfully enters the spiritual spring to practice, Huang Ying has full confidence that she can use the power of the spiritual spring to break through to the peak Golden Core realm, and even break through to the broken pill condensing infant. Nascent soul realm, thinking about it is one thing, but whether you dare to do it is another. I believe no one would dare to face the Wolf Emperor in the concentration realm and the entire Yaoyue Tianlang clan. Chapter 59 You Disabled Wolf. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Night falls, the sky full of stars shrouded the entire mountain peak, and the small valley in the gap looked very beautiful. All the Yaoyue Sirius fell asleep, and only dozens of tribesmen were still guarding the entrance. At this time, one head was more than 4 meters long, with moonlight patterns all over its body. It slowly walked towards the spiritual spring, and then entered the spiritual spring to start practicing. Until now, neither of them left. Huang Ying understood what Su Chen meant. She must not give up in front of Linquan. She wanted to persuade but kept silent. Even if she couldn't get in, she could just take a look. As for wasting time, it didn't matter to her. So what if Qiu Lai couldn't get a ranking? At least her cultivation had improved by 1 level, and she was already very satisfied. There's something strange. What happened? Su Chen looked at a location not far from the valley. A black tiger more than 4 meters long was approaching quickly. The speed was so fast that it entered the valley instantly under the moonlight. Dark Demon Nether Tiger, concentrating soul realm monster beast. Huang Ying exclaimed, never expecting that a dark demon nether tiger would suddenly appear. The most important thing is that this dark demon nether tiger turned out to be a concentrating soul realm monster. Su Chen smiled and secretly sighed that the opportunity had finally come. It seemed that he had waited all day and was not in vain. The figure of the dark demon nether tiger had just appeared in the valley, and he immediately began to kill the demonic moon Sirius. With the power of the concentrating soul realm, no demonic moon Sirius could stop it. Arriving in front of the spiritual spring, looking at the Wolf King who was practicing in the spiritual spring, the dark demon nether tiger's eyes were very cold, and he said coldly, "You are really quite leisurely." The Wolf King slowly stood up from the spiritual spring. There was no trace of surprise or anger on his face, as if he had already guessed that the dark demon Nether Tiger would come. Dark demon, you and I have been fighting for hundreds of years, and you have never been my opponent. This spiritual spring belongs to me, so you should leave. Snort, that with a heavy snort, the dark demon Nether Tiger roared angrily, Ken Lang, if you didn't rely on the spiritual spring to practice, would you be better than me? You disabled wild wolf. Who are you calling a disabled wolf? I'll call you a disabled wolf. Look at your trashy appearance, which makes you sick to your stomach. I really wonder why your parents were so careless in the first place and raised a disabled wolf like you. Su Chen and Huang Ying were a little stunned when they heard the insults from the dark demon Nether Tiger. This was the first time they heard the demon beast curse someone. It was really exciting. When monsters reach the Soul Palace realm, they can actually speak human words. However, monsters must be distinguished. Some monsters cannot speak even if they are in the Soul Palace realm, but some monsters can speak when they are in the nascent soul realm. Anger, the Wolf King looked up to the sky and roared. He hated people calling him a disabled wolf the most, because his mother belonged to the lower wolf clan in the wolf clan, and he was born with a disability. As his cultivation became stronger and stronger, although the disability has disappeared, but some people will still call him a disabled wolf behind his back. If you are afraid of him, you will definitely not dare to shout directly, but this dark demon ghost tiger will provoke you again and again. Yaoyue Tianlang belongs to the 9th level of concentration state, while dark demon Nether Tiger belongs to the 8th level concentration state. This is because the Wolf Emperor relies on the spiritual spring. Otherwise, dark demon Nether Tiger would have surpassed the Wolf Emperor long ago. This itself also shows that dark demon the Nether Tiger's talent is higher than that of the Wolf Emperor. Dark demon, I will tear your mouth apart today. Is it just you? That the dark demon Nether Tiger hissed and headed directly towards the wolves next to it. Dark demon, how dare you? Why don't I dare? Today I will kill your wolf clan, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. This moment, the Wolf King was completely panicked, because the aura he released from the dark demon Nether Tiger was shocked to find that the dark demon Nether Tiger had broken through to the 9th level of concentration. At the same level, he could no longer achieve absolute suppression. And with the current strength of the dark demon Nether Tiger, if he wants to slaughter the clansmen, I believe that no clansman can resist it. The speed of the dark demon Nether Tiger was so fast that only black afterimages could be seen, accompanied by miserable roars and clouds of blood mist exploding continuously. No demon moon wolf could withstand the massacre of the dark demon tiger. One tiger and one wolf chased each other back and forth. Blood mist filled the air everywhere they passed, and the pungent smell of blood spread to all directions, even if they were hiding in the dark. Both Su Chen and Huang Ying could smell it. Dark demon, you stupid tiger, if you dare to kill any of my clan members again, I will definitely cut your body into thousands of pieces and crush your bones into ashes. You are really rubbish. The dark demon Nether Tiger directly chose to ignore the threat to the Wolf King. He suddenly broke through to the 9th level of concentration, and finally could say this. After being suppressed by the Wolf King for a whole 100 years, he wanted to slaughter the entire Yaoyue Sirius clan this time. Just a few minutes, hundreds of Yaoyue Sirius were slaughtered. Even those who did not die were already scared to death and fled the valley in a rolling and crawling manner. Looking at the corpses on the ground, the Wolf King's entire face became distorted with anger. The cold aura on his body was extremely violent, and murderous intent surged. He said coldly, Dark demon. I will definitely eat you today. That I'll drink your blood and won't even let go of your bones. That if you touch the bottom line, you will never be forgiven. Anyone who dares to touch his people will die. Where did all this nonsense come from? Let's just get started. The dark demon Nether Tiger didn't make any nonsense. Anyway, this battle was unavoidable. He, who had been suppressed for 100 years, must suppress the Wolf King today and occupy the spiritual spring. The dark demon Nether Tiger has full confidence in his own talent. Once he successfully occupies the spiritual spring, he will definitely be able to attack the Juding realm in a short time. This is why he has to risk the danger to come. The true meaning of being unwilling to give up for 100 years. Reason, the next second, the figures of a tiger and a wolf disappeared instantly and collided fiercely in midair. Junior Su, our opportunity has come, Huang Ying said with surprise on her face. Fortunately, she stayed here. Otherwise, such a golden opportunity would have been missed. As the dark demon Nether Tiger and Wolf King fought to the death, Huang Ying knew very well what they had to do, which was to watch the fire fight from the other side and wait for the life and death battle between the two concentrating soul realm monsters. Then they could monopolize the spiritual spring. Su Chen nodded. He had been thinking about how to get the spiritual spring smoothly. However, under the guard of Yaoyue Tianlang clan, unless he could suppress the entire wolf clan, it would be almost impossible to get the spiritual spring. Possible things, but they never thought that they were lucky enough to encounter the dark demon Nether Tiger who came to seek revenge and compete for the spiritual spring, which gave them a chance. Now Su Chen just hopes that the two concentrating soul realm monsters can fight to the death, and then the two of them can step out to clean up the mess. Boom. The offensive of the two monster beasts was very domineering, and no one showed any mercy, because the two monster beasts knew very well that in this battle, either you would die or I would die. Unable to continue to achieve absolute suppression, the Wolf King's face became more and more solemn, because their strength was almost the same. If they kept fighting, they would definitely not be able to tell the winner. The worst result would be that both sides would suffer. It's just that he can't give up now, because the Wolf King knows very well that even if he is willing to give up, the dark demon Nether Tiger will definitely want to kill him. The attacks of the two monster beasts became more and more crazy, and their whole bodies were stained red with blood. Even so, neither of the two monster beasts was willing to stop, and both wanted to kill the other. Boom boom boom. Under the continuous collision, there was the sound of bones breaking, and the cold eyes contained terrifying murderous intent. The two monsters actually chose to attack with their souls. This kind of thing hurts the fundamentals. Under normal circumstances, no monster is willing to try, especially when the strength is evenly matched. The only way to determine the winner is with the help of soul collision. Otherwise, it is impossible to forcefully escape. Far away, looking at the two monster beasts whose souls had begun to collide, Su Chen's eyes became brighter and brighter. He was really unwilling to wait any longer because there were too many variables. Although the two demonic beasts chose to collide with their souls, no one knows what the final result will be. The safest thing is to take action personally and take the initiative in one's own hands. Su Chen knew what the consequences would be if he took action personally, and he would dig his own grave if he was not careful. Senior Huang Ying, wait for me here. What you do? Their life and death battle is very likely to be indistinguishable. We won't see both sides hurt by then, and it will be difficult for us to get the spiritual spring. I want to give this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity a try. Huang Ying was stunned on the spot, because she never expected that Su Chen would make such a choice. Even if the two monsters are in a special period now, they cannot compete with them. Once an accident occurs, they will not even have a chance to leave the valley smoothly. Only, looking at Su Chen with a firm face, Huang Ying knew very well that no matter how much she tried to persuade him, it would be useless. In this case, why waste more words? Junior Su, I'll go with you. No. Junior Su, do you think I am greedy for life and afraid of death? If we want to go together, we will go together, and if we want to die, we will die together. I will not sit here and enjoy the benefits. If you don't agree, then you can't go either. He said so firmly that even Su Chen couldn't refuse and could only agree, but he still said, Senior Huang Ying, please don't take action, I will take care of it. If something unexpected happens, remember, leave me alone and leave immediately. Okay. Promising is one thing, whether you will do it is another. Huang Ying has decided that if there is a life or death accident, she will not leave alone, but will face it together with Su Chen. This is not the so-called love between men and women, but the inseparability between classmates. Su Chen has saved her and is willing to consider for her. It is impossible for her to do the stupid thing of leaving alone. Su Chen is very crazy, because in his opinion, for a warrior, there is no chance to get an opportunity without arguing. If you are afraid of danger, why come to take risks? Now that you are here, you must win the spiritual spring, and now the opportunity is for him said, it is definitely a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Chapter 60 Qiankun Bag, Qiankun Pill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Between the mountains, there were wolf corpses everywhere in the valley, and the two concentrating soul realm monsters were frantically fighting for their souls, both trying to kill each other. The two monsters are both at the 9th level of concentration, and their strength is evenly matched. It is almost impossible to kill each other by relying on their own strength alone. The constant collision of souls made it impossible for the two monsters to withdraw from this battle. Soon, the bodies of the two monster beasts began to stagger, and there was a hint of panic in their eyes, because under this situation, they probably had only one outcome, and that was losing both sides. Right now, buzz. Buzz. The two divine patterns of Taichu broke through the layers of void, and invaded the minds of the two monster beasts with absolute domineering force, strangulating their souls fiercely. Under normal circumstances, even if Su Chen used the absolute divine pattern in a sneak attack from behind, he would not be able to successfully injure the concentrating soul realm monster. However, the current situation is completely different. The collision of the souls of the dark demon Nether Tiger and the Wolf King has reached the most critical moment. Su Chen suddenly rushed out and was caught off guard. The bodies of the two monster beasts fell straight down, their souls were shattered, and their breath was weak to the limit. It was obvious that they could no longer survive. Looking at the two people who gradually appeared in front of them, whether it was the dark demon Nether Tiger or the Wolf King, their eyes were full of anger. Two human warriors at the Golden Core realm dared to appear here. Human, if you dare to touch the spiritual spring, I will kill you. The angry roar came from a deep roar, and they could all guess it. If nothing else happened, the two human warriors must have come for the spiritual spring. How not to feel angry? If it were normal times, two humans would not dare to come here. A random clan member could easily destroy the two of them. When he came to the two monster beasts, Su Chen was too lazy to talk nonsense and directly killed the dark demon Nether Tiger and Wolf King, and began to use the Chaos Devouring technique in his body. Master, do you have time to chat? Can. Su Chen sat cross-legged, and his soul was drawn into the Chaos Devouring Tower. Ta Ling, what do you want to see me for? Su Chen certainly knew that if it weren't for something important, Ta Ling wouldn't just look for him casually. The illusory figure nodded and said with a smile, the master practices the Chaos Devouring art. Even if he can use the Chaos Devouring art to devour the power of the soul, there will be no backlash. However, the influx of power that is not comparable to the realm will only be harmful to the master's martial arts. It won't do any good. Understanding the meaning of the tower spirit, Su Chen was also a little helpless about this matter, because he also understood that he could not devour it without limit. He had to refine and fuse it and continue to devour it. If he continued to devour it endlessly, he would not be able to cultivate his own martial arts. And not much benefit, just watch your soul disappear. It's really a pity. For example, if my own realm could keep up with the souls of the two concentrating monsters, I could completely devour them. Ta Ling, do you have a way to solve this matter? Su Chen was not a fool. Since the tower spirit called him in, there must be a way to solve the matter. He looked at the tower spirit expectantly. He didn't want to waste his soul in vain. The tower spirit nodded and said, Master, I am now teaching you an alchemy technique, which is different from the 3000 alchemy methods. It is specifically designed to deal with devouring souls and refining elixirs. It can only be refined with the Chaos Devouring technique. You mean that I can refine the devoured souls into soul elixirs? Yes, the master can refine the devoured souls into the Qiankun Dan with the help of this elixir, supplemented by the Chaos Devouring technique and the Qiankun furnace. The Qiankun Dan can store more than 95% of the soul, and the remaining the next 5% will pass away, which is uncontrollable, and it will be refined into the Qiankun Dan. In the future, Su Chen does not have to swallow it all. Only by slowly swallowing and refining can he ensure that the master's martial arts goes smoothly. Master has already practiced the Chaos Devouring technique, and he also has the help of the Qiankun furnace, so he can refine it immediately. Understood. The soul returns. The chaos devouring technique running in Su Chen's body crazily devoured the souls of the two monster beasts, and he chose to refine them instead of summoning the universe furnace. The first time he made alchemy before, he had failed, but this time it was different. Although the tower spirit didn't say it clearly, Su Chen still guessed a thing or two. It seemed that the pill technique taught to him by the tower spirit just now was completely complementary to the swallowing of chaos. There was no chaos. With devouring technique as the basis, even practicing this alchemy technique is useless. The hands were constantly forming seals, and the power swallowed up in the body was continuously introduced into the Qiankun furnace and began to be refined. Alchemy. That looking at Su Chen, who was refining alchemy in front of her, Huang Ying was completely confused, because she really didn't expect that Su Chen was actually an alchemist. On the mainland, the status of warriors is very high. Warriors are above everything else. Among warriors, alchemists, weapon refiners, talisman masters, formation masters, etc. have higher status than others. Above ordinary warriors, because the talents required to become an alchemist, weapon refiner, talisman master and formation master are too demanding. How many secrets does Su Chen have? With such a talent, not to mention Donghuang College, even in the entire Donghuang, he can surpass his peers. It's very sad. Now that I think about it, there has never been a time in Donghuang Academy where a student in the real alchemy realm could enter the ace class. Su Chen was an exception. It turned out that it was Su Chen's talent and potential that made the academy break the precedent. The first time he refined the Qiankun pill, it took Su Chen 2 full hours to complete it successfully. Even so, 50% was still lost. Even so, Su Chen was already very satisfied. After all, refining alchemy requires taking your time, and it is impossible to reach the sky in one step. This is because he has practiced the chaos swallowing technique and the Qiankun furnace. Otherwise, he would not be allowed to practice the flame level alone. Make elixirs. Slowly opening his eyes, Su Chen put away the Qiankun furnace, and 2 pills appeared in his hand and were put into the space ring. Senior Huang Ying, we enter the spiritual spring to practice. Remember, we must not swallow too much to avoid backlash. I understand. He has a good impression of Huang Ying because during the 2 hours he was refining the elixir, Huang Ying stayed in front of him and entered the spiritual spring to practice alone. Moreover, Huang Ying followed him to take risks. Most people really couldn't do that. The two came to the spiritual spring and felt the spiritual power emanating from the spiritual spring, with surprise on their faces. Without further nonsense, he immediately entered the spiritual spring and sat cross-legged, one on the left and the other on the right. Senior Huang Ying, when you encounter my aura, don't resist. All you need to do is concentrate on calmness, stick to your roots, and practice by devouring the power in the spiritual spring. Good. Please help me. The two slowly closed their eyes. Su Chen's body was running the chaos devouring technique crazily, and waves of devouring aura enveloped the two of them. Huang Ying's face suddenly changed. Huang Ying could clearly feel that she was enveloped by a breath. The speed of devouring herself seemed to be more than 3 times faster, and the speed of refining and fusion also skyrocketed. She did not dare to waste any time. For her, this is definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Now she has broken through to the 9th level of the Golden Core realm. If nothing unexpected happens, she can definitely use the spiritual spring to reach the nascent soul realm. The terrifying liquefaction of spiritual power surprised Su Chen. He had not swallowed the souls of the 2 monsters just now, so he could completely swallow the power of the spiritual spring. While practicing by devouring the power of the spiritual spring, he communicated with the Chaos Devouring Tower and asked, "Tower Spirit, is it possible to think of a way to store the power of the spiritual spring?" This is what Su Chen is most concerned about, because the entire spiritual spring is very large and contains enough power to swallow hundreds of people for practice. Even if he has the chaos devouring technique and the chaos body, it is impossible to swallow the entire spiritual spring. Possible things. Due to the master's performance during this period, the master is hereby rewarded with the Qiankun bag. The Qiankun bag contains the world of Qiankun, which requires the master's continuous evolution. A small yellow bag appeared in Su Chen's hand, and a drop of blood essence merged into the Qiankun bag. The soul instantly entered the world inside the Qiankun bag. It was indeed 100 times larger than the space ring, and the world here could be developed by oneself. His eyes were very bright. According to what Ta Ling said, the universe bag he got contained the universe world. The boundless universe world required his constant evolution. He didn't know how big the universe world he would reproduce would be when he evolved to the pinnacle of the universe in the future. Very much looking forward to it, he didn't take action immediately. What he had to do now was to use the spiritual spring to break through his own limits. The Chaos Devouring technique, the ancestral Phoenix Nirvana technique and the ancient gods and demons technique were all running in the body at the same time. They were devouring them crazily, forming a vortex in the body and constantly pouring into the real elixir. Breaking through his own limits in an instant, he continuously crossed from the 7th level real elixir realm to the 8th level real elixir realm, to the 9th level real elixir realm, to the peak real elixir realm, and finally broke through the 1st level golden elixir realm. If we were to practice normally, it would probably take more than 3 months to break through from the 7th level real elixir realm to the 1st level golden elixir realm. Now, we can successfully break through in just 1 day. From this, we can believe that Lingxuan's domineering power lord. Right now, the golden elixir in Huang Ying's body shattered instantly, and the swallowed power was tightly wrapped, and began to form a baby's shadow, which was similar to the golden elixir. It was the Yuanying possessed by the Yuanying realm warrior. Break the golden elixir and condense the Yuanying. Opening her eyes suddenly, Huang Ying was extremely excited. She knew her talent very well. Even if she practiced in Lin Organ, if she wanted to break through to the nascent soul realm in 1 day, she would definitely not be able to do it without the help of Junior Su. Thank you very much. If it weren't for your help this time, I wouldn't have been able to gather the nascent soul. In the nascent soul realm, when she returns to the academy, she can apply for promotion to the ace class, which is the ace class and the highest level class in the academy. There is only one ace class in the entire Donghuang Academy, and everyone in it is the elite among the elites. It can be said that for every student in the academy, the ace class is the class that they dream of entering. She never thought of it. However, he was able to enter the ace class so quickly.